Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a calm conversation that's meant to help you drift on over to sleep, to relaxation, or just to chillness. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
I'm Amanda Barker. I have a smoky, dulcet voice tonight.
Amanda, you're a little under the weather?
More than a little, friends. More than a little.
Well, then let me do the majority of the talking.
Happily.
So I'm going to say a few things off the top that I'm really enthusiastic about, but I'm going to say it in very gentle ways.
Okay.
So, as you might know, we've had some ads on the podcast, and the ads are affording us to get equipment for the podcast. So thank you for bearing with it. For those of you who don't want to listen to ads on the podcast, you can always go to Supercast, Insomnia. It would be the insomniaproject.supercast.com. I'll have it in the show notes as well. And you can get ad-free listens there. And the listeners who do use Supercast seem to be very happy with that. So thank you for your patience with those commercials that you hear off the top of the podcast. I made sure that we don't have any inserted into the middle of the podcast or the end, so that if you're drifting off, it's not going to affect your listening. Well, I can gladly say that our ads have afforded me to get 2 dynamite preamps for our podcast. So I plug our Shure microphones into the preamp, and it's funny because they look like little dynamite sticks.
That's what I thought they were when you showed me. I had no idea what you were showing me.
So they're preamps because these mics, for some reason, record very low. And so some of our episodes may have sounded low in the past.
But I think for our podcast, that's what we want. No?
Yeah, but they might be too low. You want podcast to be a certain loudness level. So some of our episodes might be a little bit low for people. Well, these dynamite sticks, these dynamite preamps that look like little sticks of dynamite.
It's like an explosion and relaxation.
And they go into our interface, and basically it amplifies the audio from these microphones. I'm not an audio engineer, but that's how I see it.
Not yet. I feel like you are.
I kind of am, but without...
a de facto audio engineer.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that I'm really jazzed about. It's the first time we're using these dynamite preamps with these microphones, so I'm kind of thrilled.
Let us know what you guys, folks think about them.
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. And I want to thank my sister-in-law and nephew in Halifax, who also gave me a gift certificate that I used to purchase them. So all those things.
All of his birthday and Christmas present asks go towards this podcast, basically.
It's true. It's true. Now, the other thing that I'm pretty jazzed about is...
You're very jazzed.
I'm jazzed. Like, I'm even doing jazz hands.
Yeah, you're Bob Fosse over there.
I'm Bob Fosse.
Do you know who Bob? You know.
Yeah, I wanted to say the Deer Hunter, but it's not the Deer Hunter.
The Deer Hunter.
No, the Cabaret he directed.
He directed Cabaret.
Right.
Where'd Deer Hunter?
I don't know.
Come
it just
from?
came to my head.
Another movie from the 70s.
Yeah, another movie. Totally different movie.
All that jazz.
All that
is
jazz.
About him, but and I think directed by him, but and starring him, but Cabaret. He.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did the choreo. I don't know.
I think he directed it, too.
I think he might have directed it, yeah.
And wasn't he married to Marcia Gay Harden?
I don't think so. Marcia Gay Harden? No, she was married to a playwright.
Okay.
Marcia Gay Harden.
He was married to someone from
Bill
Annie.
Antonou right now sits in a den in Scarborough yelling at his headphones.
Who was he married to? She was in Annie. And a dancer.
He's married to...
Marcia Gay Harden.
No, Ian Reinking.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we got Annie.
Yeah.
That song.
Okay, so...
We don't have the copyright to sing any more of it, but that's the lyric from it.
So...
And the title of it.
The other thing I'm jazzed about, like
so
Bob
jazzed.
Fosse, Bob Fosse.
What'd you call him?
Bob Fosse, I think I said.
That's you. You're Bob Fosse.
Today
You're
I'm
the
Bob.
knockoff Bob Fosse.
I'm the busted Bob Fosse.
Yeah.
Bob Fosse.
We're all a busted version of someone.
And you're busted and what's her
Anne
name?
Reinking? I'll happily be busted Anne Reinking.
She had a deep voice, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so there you
I'm
go.
busted Anne Reinking.
Okay, there
today.
you go. So I just want to say this. So I'm very excited. I'm very jazzed. I'm very Bob Fosse-esque.
Oh my gosh.
I can't say it.
We get it.
Our episodes, 413 of them,
Wow.
are now all on YouTube.
That's crazy.
So if you have friends who like to listen to podcasts at work that are chill, that'll allow them to work, but also put them in.
Or if you'd rather listen to them on YouTube, go for it, right?
Well, I'd prefer if they listen to it on an audio,
okay. All right.
on a podcast
But we're just
platform.
trying to make it more accessible for the world.
Please let your friends and coworkers know that they can now have access to our entire catalog of the Insomnia Project on YouTube.
And why choose?
And why choose? Really, listen to it both ways. And the reason I did that, Amanda, was it's a long and laborious task, as you know.
You've been working on it hard.
For about 3 weeks now, I've been uploading all our episodes.
What have I been doing?
Watching and laughing.
No.
You've been dancing.
I've been cooking and working and not doing it. Though.
So anyways, we have them all available now for our listeners.
So great.
I'm very excited about it, Amanda. You'll see that certain seasons have different looks to them when you watch them, and that's just the way it is. And I have like a kind of Miami Vice look to. So when you watch it on YouTube, it's just a static image. It's not us actually live
of Miami Vice.
No, of
because that would be weird. Don Johnson and the other guy.
Crockett and Tubbs, right?
Crockett and Tubbs, that's us.
So
I'll be Tubbs.
I'll be Crockett. I don't know who was who because I didn't really watch it. So anyways, it's a static image, right? It's not an actual video of us doing the podcast. It's a static image, and I chose something that looks very that has a Miami from the 80s and 90s feel to it.
Why?
You're limited with the amount. I just chose it. Okay, that's what I chose.
I don't know if Miami in the 80s is the most soothing choice. It should be soothing, no?
It is soothing.
Okay, Miami in the 80s?
For someone who sat back while I was doing all the uploads.
I didn't know that you were, showing us off like we're a cocaine den.
We're not a cocaine den, all right?
SeaWorld.
It is what I chose, and that's what it is. And
is it fluorescent?
Not fluorescent.
Is it side ponytail?
No, it's more in
Is it roller skates?
It's got the purple look to it. It was just more interesting. I didn't want anything too bright, and I didn't want anything too jazzy. I wanted something that was kind of calm, and it seemed calm to me.
Miami in the 80s?
Well, this image isn't quite Miami in the 80s. It has a interesting kind of...
You say Miami in the 80s to me.
What do you think Miami's in the 80s?
I think Don Johnson. I think speedboats. I think pounds of cocaine. I'm just going to be honest.
No, it's not that.
I don't mean to harp on that, but...
No, it's not pounds of cocaine.
It's the 80s part that...
It's more...
I think fluorescent warm-up suits.
No, it's pinks and purples and kind of that
Golden Girls.
No, well, okay, let's say it leans more towards Golden Girls than Miami Vice. Okay, all right, enough. So there you go. So you let us know what you think of it. Where we offer it to you to check out our YouTube page, check out the
Clearly
episodes.
I've looked at it because this is the first I'm hearing about this Miami in the 80s theme.
And I'm really excited that it's up there. I also transcribed all our episodes.
Amazing.
So that's on the transcriptions can be found on our webpage, theinsomniaproject.com. If you should need them. I don't know why you would need a transcription of our podcast, but I'm just trying to get it out there to more people.
Right.
And of course, we appreciate anything that you do to help elevate our podcast. So thank you so much for listening. That's all to say. I'm very jazzed with everything that I've done for this podcast.
And I'm jazzed that you did it and that I didn't do it.
Well, listen, it's great. Amanda, so...
listen, I'll make you this promise. If we do another podcast... I will do the heavy lifting on that one.
I like the way that sounds. Okay, great.
Foreshadowing
indeed. Now, we came back from Ottawa. We were in Ottawa for a little bit.
And we're going back.
And we're going back to Ottawa.
Can't get enough of the Ottawa.
Is there anything you're excited to do in Ottawa this next trip?
You know what kills me? Every time I go, I'm like, I want to skate the Rideau. Not that I'm a skater, but I want to skate the Rideau. Rideau, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Rideau
Canal.
Anyway, and then I never do. And then it's Sunday and we're like, should we do it? And then we're like, it's raining, and then we leave.
Well, this time it was warm, and I
Yeah,
feel
I don't think it was open anyway. I mean, maybe it was, but
I'll say this. If you're not familiar with Ottawa or the Rideau Canal, take a look online at people who skate the Rideau Canal. It's really quite lovely.
it's the longest
Canal skate.
canal skate in the world or something like longest frozen thing you can skate in the world or something like that. I don't know if that's what the sign says.
I think
But
I think the sign would be a little bit more sure of itself.
longest thingy that's frozen that you can also skate on.
Our niece wanted to skate it this week. She's coming to Ottawa.
Yeah, she's excited. Well, there are lots of things we love to do in Ottawa. Eating scones.
Oh my goodness. I gotta just say.
Or do you say scones?
I say scones.
We say scones.
We're a scone family.
We are, and I know that's probably wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, if you're in like Edinburgh or Edinburgh, as we would stupidly say it.
I wouldn't say it like that.
You'd say Edinburgh?
Of course.
Okay. If we were in Glasgow.
Sure.
And they're all saying scone.
Sconce.
And we're like, well, not sconce. That's a light fixture.
What if they were talking about a light fixture?
I don't know. I mean, they have their own dialect.
Okay, fair.
But they say sconce. But scone, isn't it? I don't know. We say scone. I'm sorry. We're Canadian. We do our best.
I'm not sorry. That's the way I say it, and I proudly say scone.
I'm sorry because I'm Canadian, not sorry like Americans.
What did I say?
You said sorry.
Sorry, yeah, because I'm Canadian. I love that our podcast is a Canadian podcast, and I use my Canadian accent, and I don't try to mask it.
You don't have too thick a Canadian accent.
I know, but you know.
Well, it depends on who's saying that.
The truth is, when we're doing auditions, I try to mask my Canadian accent so that I sound more American, because a lot of the stuff we go out for is American TV and film.
I know, and you know what? And the things that I shoot in Ottawa are American usually. And you know what makes me laugh is every time I'm shooting in Ottawa, Ottawa's a beautiful world-class city. It is.
It really is.
It really is. It's an incredible city. Beautiful museums. It's obviously the capital city of Canada, so it brings all of that. I mean, it really is an incredible city. The arts, the culture.
Equally French, equally English.
Yes, and smart, interesting people there. But what makes me laugh is every time I go and film something there, it's subbing in, and I'm talking like downtown Ottawa is subbing in for some tiny, small American town. And it makes me laugh because it's usually the opposite, right? Usually you want to shoot somewhere small and cheap and then make it like New York or something. But it's always some Ohio small town, but we're like downtown Ottawa. And that was the case this week.
Okay, Amanda, I have two Ottawa things I need to talk about.
Okay.
So the first is, so you were filming and I was at our hotel. I was doing a lot of this podcasting work, actually. It afforded me the time to work on the podcast and getting things up to speed. Now, that said, in the afternoon, I needed a coffee. And we didn't have, in our hotel, we didn't have a coffee maker. We did, but it's...
we had one of those pod machines.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
No, and I wanted an espresso. I really wanted an espresso.
Like a proper one.
Like a proper espresso. So I put into the phone where the closest espresso was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it was a 15-minute walk.
Like you said, I put into the phone.
I looked into the phone.
Like you called it.
No, I looked.
You typed it in.
I typed it in. And it was a 15-minute walk. Mm-hmm. But it was a 3 to 6 minute drive.
So what did you do?
It was cold. And ordinarily I would want to go for a walk, but I chose to drive.
Okay.
So it wasn't far from our hotel. I was like, I'm going to get an espresso. So I looked up, I just typed in espresso and I looked at my options. And there was one that was called Espresso Cafe that looked like it could do a proper espresso. Because, you know, I'm very particular and picky when it comes to that.
You are.
And I always get a little bit aggravated when I go to an espresso bar and they only do double shots, because in Italy, that's not how they would do it, and that's not how you should do it. And if you only do double shots, you're not the place for me. So I'm like, this espresso, it's called Espresso Bar. It looks good. I'm really excited. I'm going to go there. So as I'm driving, I realize I'm heading into Little Italy. Our hotel was not far from the Little Italy in Ottawa, which is on Prescott Street. So I was like, okay, so I'm driving, and then I see Espresso Bar, but they spell it with an X, espresso.
Yeah.
And I was like, that could be a signal that they don't know what they're doing. Because if they can't spell espresso properly, there's going to be an issue for me, right?
I wonder why they spelled it like that.
Maybe to
be fun.
Yeah. But I was like, it's in Little Italy, so it has to be a decent place that makes espresso, right? So I'm trying to find a place to park.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find one. So I drive a bit up the street a couple blocks, and then I see Cosenza Bar.
Tell us about Cosenza.
So Cosenza is an area, is a city in Calabria, a principal city in Calabria, which is the southern part of Italy, the toe, where my dad was from.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh.
How far was his town from Cosenza?
Well, he was closer to Catanzaro than Cosenza. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the distance or the...
Like an hour?
Well, I never drove from my father's hometown to Cosenza.
Oh, no?
No.
I thought you did.
No.
Okay.
I didn't.
Why wouldn't I think that you've been there?
I've been there.
Okay.
Now I can't remember if we drove through Cosenza.
Okay, but sorry.
Well, that's just a reference. My dad was from there, so I had high hopes.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this place should be able to do a good Italian espresso.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I'm like, oh, but it's in Little Italy. What if it's a gimmicky place?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and some Little Italies don't have that Italian flavor anymore. Now it's become very gentrified.
We should do a whole episode on the Little Italies, all the ones we've been to.
Oh, we should. That'd be a great idea.
We've been to a bunch, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna go in, and I'm gonna shoot the dice. I need an espresso. If they can't make it at Cosenza Bakery, where my dad is from, where can they make it? So I have high hopes.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in, and it was like I walked into a scene in a Martin Scorsese film. There was all these older Italian men, and they were all having conversations, and there was an 80-year-old man sitting at the bar by himself.
Oh, wow.
And there was some younger guys that were kind of hip at their own little table, and I think there was a table that was celebrating someone's birthday, but it was all men in there.
Oh, wow.
And it looked very authentic, and I could tell. And I walked in there, and there was a woman behind the bar who was going to make the drink, the coffees, right, and was making drinks for the people. And they were very welcoming, but they all looked at me, and I thought, oh, is this a private club? As soon as I walked in there, right?
Yeah, we don't know this guy, fresh meat.
And I was just looking, and I was like, oh, is this a private club? And I'm like, no, it looks like a proper bar. And it didn't say private club when we walked in. It just had it just happened to be really populated with people that afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to the bar, and I'm like, can I get an espresso macchiato? And she's like, sure, of course. And I look over, and they have amaretti cookies in a jar, and it says homemade amaretti cookies, right? And those are little almond cookies, just like the size of a quarter, let's say, in size and height a little bit, maybe an inch and a half. And I said, I'll get one of those. And she makes it for me, and it's Lavazza coffee. So already I'm happy because I do like Lavazza coffee. And she makes the proper macchiato, the kind you would get if you were in Italy. And I was happy. And she
espresso macchiato, not latte macchiato.
Right.
Because a lot of people know latte macchiato because that's what Starbucks normally does.
Right. No,
like the caramel macchiato.
What I'm getting is espresso with a little bit of milk. A little glug of milk inside.
Espresso with a tiny little topper of foam.
Thank you. So, and she gives me a little side of water, a tiny, almost like just bigger than a shot glass of water. And I'm like, oh, they do it right here.
Yeah.
And Amanda, that coffee couldn't have tasted any better if I made it myself.
Amazing.
So I was really happy about that.
I have 2 questions.
Sure.
First question. Was there one of those fresh press orange machines there?
No, there wasn't.
Because in Italy, those are every gas station seems to have like a machine that has like full oranges in it. And they're like, yeah, fresh juice, no problem. Like crazy.
They did have a granita machine, coffee
Okay.
granita machine,
Okay.
and it was running because sometimes in the winter you don't see it running, and it was, and I was impressed with that.
Second question.
Yes.
What language were people speaking?
Oh, that's a good question because the people closest to me were the younger crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The old gentleman who I sat at the bar with, who was in his 80s, didn't say a word.
Okay.
Just looked like a character type sitting at the bar,
Okay.
just watching the world go by. The gentleman in the back, like in the back area, wasn't
The
the back.
Scorsese guys?
The Scorsese guys, I'm sure they were speaking English and Italian.
Oh, but you didn't hear them.
I
Okay.
didn't eavesdrop on
I was
the
just wondering
conversation.
if they're speaking dialect or what.
No, because I didn't get close enough to hear them because I only got up to see the panini that they had available for purchase.
Your heart lied elsewhere.
Yes. It was wonderful. And the lovely thing was I had the espresso macchiato, it's 2 sips and it's gone.
Yeah.
And I stayed there for a minute. It had a really great atmosphere. And then I was like, I can't stay much longer. So I said, I'm going to settle up with you. And the barista, she goes, oh, going so soon? And I felt very welcomed by that I could have just stayed there with the 80-year-old gentleman and just sat at the bar for, however long I wanted. They wouldn't have minded.
That's nice. Well, you can go back, we're going back to Ottawa.
I think I will. And I think I might take our friends, Melissa and Matt, with me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because I think Melissa would really enjoy it. So not that Matt wouldn't, but I think Melissa, who's also her family is from Calabria, would really enjoy it. The other thing I want to say is we talked about scones earlier, but we never finished the scone conversation.
Well, you have to finish the scone conversation.
So there's a place in Ottawa called the Scone Witch.
I know.
Like a cackling witch, like a witch with a pointy hat.
Yeah.
But it's also called Scone Witch because they make sandwiches with their homemade scones.
Which Marco never put that together until this past trip.
I think I may have put it together last time, but it's been so long that I forgot it.
Maybe we've even talked about this place on the podcast.
Oh, I'm sure we have.
The first time I went to Ottawa, or one of the first times, maybe the first time you and I went together, which was maybe the second time I went to Ottawa. That was the recommend. Everyone was like, you got to go to the Scone Witch, got to go to this. And there was one, and it was like in the business area. But now there's a bunch. And it's a chain.
We were going on a Sunday to the Scone Witch, and I said, Amanda, I don't even know if the Scone Witch is open on a Sunday, because the one we had gone to was more of a business.
Not only was it open, it owns the Sunday. That one.
And as we're driving to it, I think that's when I said to you, I don't know if it's even open. And you saw a Scone Witch bus driving towards us.
Yeah. A minivan.
A minivan.
That was dropping off scone love for all of Ottawa to enjoy.
And so we love this place. Once again, neither of these places are sponsors of the show, but if you're in Ottawa, not yet. And who knows if they'll even know that we're talking about them. I'll try to put it on our social media, but if you know people in Ottawa and you know people behind the Scone Witch or Cosenza Bar, let them know about this podcast and this episode. So we had wonderful scones, and you got a cappuccino, and they did a really good job, because I wouldn't expect the Scone Witch to do a great job with the cappuccino, and they did a nice job. So I was happy.
You know what? They're lovely. They're lovely people there. People that are eating the scones are lovely. They're not that expensive. The sandwiches are plentiful and big. They have salads if you want them. Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, so I'm happy. Amanda's happy. And we're heading back to Ottawa. It's a 4-hour and change drive from Toronto.
Can't wait to do that. That's going to be super fun, seeing as I'm super sick.
Yeah, and I'm trying my best not to get sick.
And we were like, let's record this podcast. And I was like, being in the booth with me and my germs. But I mean, we live in a house together, and we share a bed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And last week, I did a solo cast because you weren't feeling well.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So Amanda was like, no, I'll record with you, because I thought maybe I'd have to do another solo cast.
I wasn't feeling well last week.
Last week, there was a reason why.
I was gone, maybe.
You were gone. Where were you? I can't remember. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the solo cast last week. I hope you're enjoying this episode with our new Dynamite preamps.
I hope you're enjoying the Miami Vice themed YouTube episodes.
Check those out.
The 80s
you
Miami.
Know, another word that I realized is a very Canadian way of saying it. South. When people say south.
South.
How do you say south?
South.
And I heard a newscaster on CHCH say south.
Well, CHCH, you want a Canadian accent, you tune into CHCH, Hamilton's only. Yeah, they really lean into the oots and the boots.
Yeah, and the south.
Canada is so known for, yeah. And it's funny because we don't hear it all the time, and then you hear it on that news channel, and you're like, whoa. They sound like Bob and Doug McKenzie.
They lean into that.
Yeah, I don't know if they know they lean into it, but they certainly have it.
Yeah, they don't lean out of it.
They don't lean out.
Yeah, so
that's true.
That's something I noticed that
today. Which is great. I mean, it's fun, right? Like, I hope Canada has so many interesting regional accents. That's one of them. That's not the only one,
sure.
Though. But I hope we don't ever lose that, you know?
The Ottawa Valley actually has a very distinct Canadian accent.
I don't know much about it. What is the Ottawa Valley?
I don't know
accent?
either.
Okay.
I know one little phrase they say that I cannot say on the air.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's a little bit inappropriate. But
Oh, my.
yeah, so there you go. So
Ottawa.
who knew, right?
Yeah, who knew?
I've never bumped into the Prime Minister in Ottawa
Yet.
and
He's a little busy.
I'm hoping I will, because they often go to places that we go to that we frequent, like restaurants and
Oh,
stuff.
my God. We go to the Scone Ranch. He's there.
That'd be amazing.
He's like, hey, guys, listen to the podcast.
Listen, I'll even take a not retired, former Prime Minister, bumping into a former Prime Minister in Ottawa. That'd be fun too.
Well, we probably will.
It'd be nice.
Our former Prime Minister's living his best life right now.
Well, we've got a few.
He's on yachts and things.
I mean, not that one, but there's a few that we could bump into. I'd love to bump into Chrétien.
Oh, yeah, he's around.
Yeah, Paul Martin.
Chrétien's like in his 90s.
Yeah,
but
that's
he's kicking,
why.
man. He's just as feisty as he always was.
Kim Campbell. Love to bump into
Oh, my
her
gosh,
too.
Kim Campbell, yeah.
So there you go.
I think she lives in BC, though.
Still, what if she's visiting Ottawa? And I'd like to bump into her.
Okay.
So there you go.
Would you recognize Kim Campbell
Of course
if you
I
bumped
would.
into her?
Yes,
Would you?
of course I
Okay.
would. Who do you think I am? Of course I
I
would.
don't know if I would.
I keep up to date with those things.
I was a big Kim Campbell fan back in the day. I was the one.
Listen, it only takes one.
Yes. It only takes one. And listen, we don't usually get into politics.
No,
but
we don't.
We would happily bump into any of them.
Yes, exactly. Well, it only takes one of you to recommend our podcast to others. And if you're the one, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening to this jazzy episode.
So jazzy.
We dipped into Miami Vice for some reason.
Well, because the theming.
Yeah. Check out our spaces.
Speaking of Miami Vice, which we weren't, Dakota Johnson's, if you want a fun architectural tour, Dakota Johnson's Architectural Digest tour is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. She has a very soothing voice. I love her mid-century modern little cottage. Like, it's not a cottage, but it's in like a little wooded area. It's just lovely, and I think it's very soothing. I've watched it a few times. So if you're still awake and you're looking for something else, maybe try that.
All right. Till next time, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you were able to listen and sleep.